Good afternoon. My name is Victoria Morrison, and the business I chose to do for my marketing plan final project is Zigul Zigul Korean Barbecue, which is actually a startup business that I plan to create in the future.
One.
So here's a little bit about this business. Zigul Zigul actually is a Shark Tank idea that my group came up with in my entrepreneurship class last semester. Myself and another group member named Mingju decided that we wanted to create this business in real life, so I thought that a good idea would be to bring this topic to this class so that I could use this research in the future to create. The vision of Zigul Zigul is to bring a cultural immersion experience to the customers by providing them high-quality Korean food and snippets of cultural life, both traditional and modern. The company strives to do this by meeting customers' everyday needs, no matter how small. Being that the company's vision is to bring a cultural immersion experience to the customers, the business's hope is to then subsequently create an interest in foreign culture, encouraging people to frequent the establishment and even travel themselves so they can bring back stories to share over dinner. In our class text, Basic Marketing, a marketing strategy planning approach, the marketing mix is described with 4 Ps: product, price, promotion, and place. Utilizing this tool, I separated Zigul Zigul into these 4 categories. In product, the company will focus on food and beverages influenced by Korean culture. In price, Zigul Zigul's menu items will be priced according to ingredient and operating expenses, while still being in a competitive range and appealing to customers. In terms of promotion, the company will be active on social media, utilizing a Facebook page, an Instagram page, and a YouTube channel. The Facebook page will be for customer communication, where customers can leave feedback or suggestions for the betterment of the business. Instagram will be focused on images of the business's interior, as well as products being sold, a form of online menu, if you will. The YouTube channel will be for updates on the business's specials, upcoming events, and cooking tips, and will also utilize other forms of advertisement, such as newspaper ads for coupons and TV ads for commercials. The last category is place. In terms of physical location, the ideal place for Zigul Zigul is 401 Market Street in Kingston, Pennsylvania, which was the old CVS. In terms of online location, Zigul Zigul will have a website for online orders and/or business information and upcoming events. In this chart, I chose to look at the leading trends in ethnic cuisine on restaurant menus in the United States in 2015. As you can see, Korean cuisine now ranks as one of the top trending cuisines in the US. The sudden interest in Korean cuisine is most likely attributed to the Korean pop music explosion that has swept across the globe. I myself have even become a fan. As you can see, the interest in Korean food in 2015 skyrocketed to 50%, giving it more and more space on restaurant menus. However, as popularity gained, Korean restaurants started popping up all over the world and now have taken hold on both the east and west coasts of America, with the most popular food being Korean barbecue. This next chart, called a SWOT analysis, is defined as a business's strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. I chose to split my SWOT analysis into 2 sections, internal and external. This way we can look at what can be controlled by the company and what can't be. The first one, marked external, displays the things the company has minimal or no control over. The first category is strength. Although it seems location would be controllable, it is also a gamble the business takes when choosing. The prospects that were present when the business moved in may not be the same when they begin to operate. There is also the choice of food and services. It is known that a high-quality restaurant may be good in presentation and service, but may not be good with their food. What some people think is good food may not fit the palates of others. The next category is weaknesses. A lack of operation experience is a weakness for any new business and can only be fixed by gaining experience. The risk of opening an ethnic eatery always relies on customer reaction. It could be positive or negative, depending on many factors of the surrounding area, including diversity. A business can try to promote their business as much as possible, but with ever-changing trends in technology, a customer response may depend on the day or even the music artist who is the most popular at the moment. Today it happens to be a Korean group. Participating in events and festivals can also be good or bad. In Kingston, Wilkes-Barre is in Kingston World's Fair, it is a good way to get noticed. However, most events and festivals in this area are also run by a particular cultural group, so it may be seen as competition. Lastly, we have threats. The first threat is to be rejected by the target market. Every business takes a gamble when opening its doors. If the target market does not take, then it is an unfortunate loss. But lastly, there are pre-existing competitors. There is no way to get rid of the competitors, especially if they were present before the business. So the best way to continue is to make yourself unique and not separate from the general trend, but to become different enough to stand out. This next chart is the internal SWOT analysis. Here we are going to look at the controlled aspects of a business. In the strengths category, there are 4 points: products, location, advantage, and cultural individuality and diverse staff. In terms of all these, Zigul Zigul is unique and unmatched, having a unique spread of food and beverages that can't be found within a 25-mile radius gives Zigul Zigul a competitive advantage over other Korean barbecues. Also, having a diverse staff gives off the air that the restaurant is more accepting and a more open environment. The weaknesses include experience, ethnic food, worthiness, and knowledge. As I mentioned before, experience is something that comes with time, so does worthiness. However, knowledge can help with both of these. So the company must be diligent in informing its staff of all restaurant-related information customers may ask, as well as facts about the Korean culture. Opportunities cover location, something new and enticing, and transitional spaces and opportunities. Being the only Korean barbecue in the area gives Zigul Zigul the opportunity to set the standard for other restaurants and Korean barbecues that might want to move in and compete. The biggest opportunity this restaurant will bring is its new and exciting cultural experience. Having this could lead to new doors being opened and could change the entire mindset of the community. Lastly is the opportunity to be a transitional location. As a traveler, I know what it's like to feel out of place. Foreign students who come to school in this area often feel left out and experience culture shock, since food served here is very different from their food back home. In Wyoming Seminary College Preparatory School, my alma mater, there are a growing number of Korean students in attendance. When I was a student there, my friends often wished that there was a Korean restaurant nearby since they weren't allowed to cook in their dorms. This could help ease the cultural transition from Far East to Far West. The last category is threats, which cover other Korean barbecues and rejection by the target market. There will always be the threat of competing establishments. The only Korean barbecue, however, that is of significant competition is Coco Korean Barbecue, but this establishment is over an hour away. And lastly, there is always the fear of rejection in everything, including business. This one is no different. As I mentioned before, if a business is rejected, it is an unfortunate loss, and the only thing to do is either alter the business to suit the customer's needs, or to give up this venue and start another one. Now we'll move on to the combining factors, which are below the strengths, opportunities, weaknesses, and threats. The combining factors of the categories are ways to fix the problems I just mentioned. These begin with the strength opportunities, or SO, which use strengths to seize opportunities. And for Zigul Zigul, that would be to add culturally influenced touches to the business. Aside from being a food and beverage experience, adding things like videos of pop culture and traditional culture to slideshows could add another visual experience. Next is the weakness opportunities, or WO, which use opportunities to cover weaknesses. In the company's case, this would be to be active on social media and to build a customer-company relationship, which would help with the transition into having a Korean restaurant in the area. The weakness threats, WT, are strategies that help a business minimize weaknesses and avoid threats as much as possible. Zigul Zigul's way of avoiding weaknesses and threats would be to serve free samples of food on the menu, to both entice customers and to help them get accustomed to the palette the restaurant provides. And lastly is the company's strength threats, ST, which are the strategies that use strengths to minimize threats. For Zigul Zigul, this would be to serve high-quality food 24/7. Often businesses start to slack on their production or change small ingredients to minimize cost. In Zigul Zigul's case, keeping a strict standard on products served to customers will help build a good reputation for the business. Now we move into choosing a target market. In doing so, it is important to choose a market that is narrow enough that the business has the opportunity to be a monopoly, but broad enough that the customer base includes as many groups as possible. In finding Zigul Zigul's target market, I started with the broadest category, which was the food market. I then chose the main focus to be ethnic food. Next, I split into two groups based on the setup of the business. These groups were eating in and taking out. After establishing this, I determined that each section would have two subsections, which consisted of the two general types of people, single or those with families. Lastly, those categories were divided into age groups, single being from 13 to 18, being high school students, and 19 to 25, being young adults or college students, and couples being from 23 to 35 as young couples, and 35 to 45 as older couples, most likely with children. In doing this, I was able to determine that the approximate age range that would fall into the target market, if being vague, would be from 18 to 45 and would consist of people who like to eat out.
2, 1.
This next slide is just meant to show you where Zigul Zigul stands against its competition. As you can see, Zigul Zigul is the closest in terms of location and the lowest in price. Next are Tai Tai and Peking Chef, which are also near in location but lean toward the high end of the spectrum. And lastly is the Korean barbecue Coco, which is moderately priced but very far away. So for this next slide, instead of doing a Boston Consulting Group analysis or the BCG matrix, I chose to do a marketing concept analysis on my group. So in the marketing concept, the three main categories are customer satisfaction, total company effort, and profit. For Zigul Zigul, the profit made depends on the customer satisfaction, which in turn depends on the total effort of the company. So at Zigul Zigul, the staff will be comprised of people who share an interest in Korean culture and food and enjoy working in a lively environment, which will lead to, obviously, business success. The business will be one that evolves over time based on customer needs and will be as flexible as possible when dealing with customer requests. The goal is high customer satisfaction, which will translate into profit. And to satisfy the customer, the company members on an individual level will be expected to participate wholeheartedly and to go above and beyond the expected service to cater to the customer's needs. So then the profit will be determined on customer satisfaction instead of just profit. And assuming that the customer was satisfied with their service and experience, they will hopefully return, having spread the word and bringing more business and potential customers and turning potential customers into actual customers. In our class text, Basic Marketing, a Marketing Strategy Planning Approach, there is a figure called the VALS model. This model describes the 8 types of customers that are generally visualized or generally appear in businesses. So, being that Zigul Zigul is not a functioning business yet, there is no set-in-stone customer analysis. However, based on the VALS model, I was able to separate the 8 groups of customers into categories based on possibility of patronage. The categories I chose were initial customers, those who are most willing to try something new; challenge customers, those who will be a little more hesitant to try new business, preferring establishment over startup; and ghost customers, or the ones who may not ever enter the establishment out of mistrust or time constraints. So, in the first group, which is initial customers, there are 3 groups of people. First is the innovators, who are successful, refined, and assertive people. And then there are thinkers, who are mature, comfortable people who desire responsibility and always have a desire to broaden their knowledge. And third, there are strivers, who are people who are motivated to achieve by achievement and care about what other people think about them and want the opportunity to socialize and show off their ability to spend money. Now, the one thing that all of these customers have in common is their need to try new things, and therefore they are the most likely to be the first in the door when the business opens. However, they are not most likely to be constant customers, so business profitability is not based on their participation. The second group challenge customers is made of two groups. Now, the strivers, which I mentioned previously, also fit into this category. Again, they are people who are motivated by achievement and care about what others think and like the opportunity to socialize and show off their ability to spend money. So the reason that the strivers also fit into this category is that they may not believe that spending a large sum of money at a restaurant is enough to show their wealth and may opt for things like jewelry. So if a restaurant can convince them to come and spend their money by giving them a good experience, they may be a returning customer. Now, aside from that, having a striver spend a large amount of money at a customer may build the restaurant's reputation, which would increase business. The second group is believers, who are similar to thinkers in that the fact that they value beliefs based on family, community, and nation, and they tend to choose trustworthy established brands. So having a believer come into a new establishment may be special because being that they like established brands, a new business may not be something that they opt for. But when believers enter a business, they will be loyal. They will most likely be the most loyal of the groups of people. And often if a customer, such as a believer who has seen a customer such as a striver, usually younger patrons, it may encourage them to think that the establishment is family friendly. Giving them a good experience is most important because families with younger children tend to frequent establishments more often if their kids are well taken care of and find something they enjoy, while the parents themselves have a good experience. The third group is the ghost customers, and there are two groups in the ghost customers. There are achievers who are goal-oriented and whose lives are structured around family, but also prefer time-saving products. So, you most likely restaurants will not see a ghost customer such as an achiever. However, they may utilize the takeout order, being that it is time-saving. If you order takeout ahead of time, once you get there, it saves you time. You can do your tasks until your order's ready. So this could be a benefit because it could increase the reputation of the company as a good takeout restaurant. There are three, not two groups. The second group is makers who prefer value to luxury and are skeptical of new big businesses. So the reason why makers might not be very, much seen in a restaurant is because, well, specifically Zigul Zigul, is because of the high quality food. So if a maker hears the words high quality, they may believe that the price range is out of their budget, so they might not want to go there. If they do come, they'll most likely order the cheapest things on the menu and avoid large meals. And the last group is survivors, who are people who have few resources and are always searching for a discount or a free product and are cautious consumers. So survivors will most likely just like makers, survivors will most likely be present when the best deals are offered, or like a coupon or some kind of discount. However, there are also the bad customers who fall into this category and will do their utmost to ensure a free meal or at least a discount, including complaining about food, drinks, service, and anything that they can think of that may make their experience below par. And survivors are often a source of stress and irritation for business owners.
1.
This slide is on the pest analysis, which is just a determination of what a company can do to basically stay out of trouble or to increase their revenue. The political and legal side, for Zigul Zigul, one would be to obtain a liquor license to be able to serve Korean alcoholic beverages, specifically soju, which is a kind of a rice liquor, and also to implement a BYOB program, which would entice late-night diners. The business will also seek legal clearance to display Korean shows and music videos for pop culture because there's always an issue of copywriting that businesses generally try to stay away from. In the social and cultural aspect, the restaurant's presence on social media would allow customers to leave feedback and comments and get instant response, which would help build the restaurant customer relationship as well as a reputation for the restaurant as being one that listens to its customers and is very willing and is flexible and is willing to adapt to its surroundings. Also, cultural wise, the Korean barbecue itself is unique, but having things such as pop culture and traditional culture displayed in the restaurant would help show kind of the whole, or bring a new level to the cultural experience and the cultural immersion experience in that is presented as Zigul Zigul's theme.
Why?
This next slide, called Porter Strategies, is just to a way of describing how a company may pursue competitive advantages across its chosen market scope. So for Zigul Zigul, the threat of new entrants, meaning new businesses like other Korean barbecues, is low, because right now the closest competition is a Korean restaurant called Coco, which is over an hour away, and on top of that, Korean barbecue is not popular in this area yet. So Zigul Zigul would be kind of like the base of the market and would be able to set the standard for Korean barbecue restaurants who would want to come to the area. Next would be customer power. The customer power is high because the restaurant is new and doesn't really have like it doesn't have the popularity of a Chinese restaurant or an Indian restaurant or a Thai restaurant. So when the restaurant opens, the customer feedback is going to be a powerful tool in the business, and it works in the customer's favor because feedback given to the business will want to change to, would want to change to better suit the customer's needs. So the customer power is high because as the business grows and develops, it will do so in the wake of customer responses to their product and what they're doing so far. So this slide is about product development. In Zigul Zigul's case, as a restaurant, the product development would be developing Korean influenced foods. So such as appetizers, desserts, sides, drinks, and main courses. Now these three pictures here are of what you could call an appetizer or a main course, a side dish, and a dessert. From left to right, the first picture on the far left is called gimbap, which is a sushi-like roll that consists of pickled radish, eggs, carrots, beef or any other meat or fish of your choice, and spinach rolled in rice and seaweed. Now this product can be served hot or cold, and it is one of the it's one of the Korean street food, which is more of a less fancy, more general kind of on-the-go meal, mostly eaten at picnics. So this would actually be a benefit for people who want takeout. It's like when you get sushi and you are on the go, it can be eaten on the go. The middle picture is probably the most well-known Korean food and is also the most famous side. It's called kimchi, which is pickled cabbage in a spicy chili paste, kind of fermented in a spicy chili paste or sauce, and it is served with almost every meal except dessert, and is often, if not always, accompanies rice. Now the third picture on the far right is called bingshu, which is a Korean dessert. It is this particular one is made of shaved ice, cut mangoes, what look like almonds, and ice cream topped with like a mango sauce. This is very similar to the Malaysian dessert chendol or ice kajang, ABC. And this specific dessert is very common and starting to gain more and more popularity in the Korean culture. Korean culture doesn't have a large expanse of sweets like Indian culture or like American culture, actually, because we have pies and everything. They're more savory, but as they get into the sweets, this is one of the most popular ones. This last slide is just a picture of what the staff would be wearing in the Korean restaurant. These are aprons designed by myself and created by myself, sewn together. They are designed in the traditional Korean attire normally worn at weddings or cultural events called hanbok, which is, as I said, traditional Korean attire. This visual on the staff is meant to increase the experience that customers have while they are being served. So now, being in full hanbok attire would not be logical because it is not something to be serving food in or running around in, and this is much more practical. So the design base is there, but not the entire outfit for restaurant needs and for safety. However, this outfit is meant to kind of give people the idea that they are experiencing Korean culture. Now, most Korean restaurants will not serve people in hanbok. They will serve them in a regular apron, but this, being that we're in America, is based on a cultural immersion experience, and one of the things that Korea is known for is their hanbok. So that is why these pictures are here, and this will be one of the advantages that I believe that the business will have, because often or not, most business attire looks the same. A general apron, or a general half apron, which is the one that only goes on the waist. But this is a nicer way of kind of exploring the apron method, and also bringing a higher class look to the staff, which would fit the business's high class food, high class themed theme.
Wow.
Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed this presentation, and I appreciate everything that you have taught me, Dr. Aurora. I really enjoyed this class, and I hope to see you in
The future.